I'm in pursuit of creating a world where every child belonging to the marginalized and migrant communities lives a life of dignity, purpose, and joy, and lives the life to its full potential.
Hello and welcome to In Pursuit Of. Today's guest is Gaurang Pathak, Director of Fundraising and Operations at Aahan Foundation. And welcome, Gaurang.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a real pleasure to have you here. And Gaurang, tell me that you have a very lofty pursuit. So how do you go about chasing that?
You're absolutely right. It's indeed a lofty pursuit. Indeed one which I believe that I perhaps may not be alive to see the fruits of it. We are working with not just the girls, who of course are required to be worked very, very diligently and in a sustained way, but we also work with the boys. We know that the kind of change that we are trying to seek cannot come into fruition or will never be sustained if we are not working with the boys as well, on a range of topics with them, but all aligned towards giving them the capacity and the agency so that they can survive and rather thrive in this world.
So tell me, what are your programs like at Aahan Foundation to help you get to this dream?
We are serving the girls as well as the boys in the age group of 10 to 18. Almost all of the girls, they have been through some of the most tragic episodes in their lives. And it's not just restricted with the girls. There are a lot of boys that we are encountering who have been through a lot of things in life which they cannot speak about. So our first and foremost attention is to identify all of these children. We have got girls where they have been abused by their own fathers. We have got girls who have been traumatized by the neighbors, and the parents do not actually believe the girls, or the boys as well, for that matter, about the kind of things that they are going through. So the first and foremost, our program starts with the mental healing part. We first take them through a journey wherein we are helping them feel safe. And once that confidence comes through those safe houses that we have got our multiple centers running in Jharkhand as well as in Noida. And these centers, these safe houses, they provide that kind of ecosystem that every child needs to just propel themselves in this world. So the mental healing through the program coordinators who are themselves part of our programs, who have themselves gone through all of those multiple steps of transformation journey, and who have themselves been the survivors. After that, we then take them to another part, which is education in 21st century skills, wherein we provide them digital education, where we train them on communication so that they could express themselves. Then we take them through another thing, which is life skills and leadership development, wherein we make use of sports, arts, and multiple other platforms so that we can help them understand what life skills they really need to have in this world. And last but not the least, we stick all of these things together by working with the community. So we work with what we call as an acronym SMART, S-M-A-R-T. S stands for Sarpanch and schools. M stands for media, the mothers. A stands for the Anganwadi workers, the administration. R stands for the regional elders or the influential people. And T stands for the teachers or the tribal families that we work with.
We need the power of a youthful audience and their questions to take our mission of sharing journeys and experiences to everyone. Please do write in with your questions and we'll make sure that we ask our guests those. Today, we have Anita asking your questions to our guest.
अगर किसी को वॉलंटियर करना हो फॉर गर्ल्स एंड बॉयज तो फिर वो ट्राइबल एरियाज में अगर काम करेंगे तो वो कैसा होगा?
Well, it would be challenging and learning, of course. How they could start their journey with us as a volunteer is that they could apply to one of our centers, or they could be a part of our programs which we keep on running in association with the associations or the local bodies. And depending upon what they feel are the areas where they have got strengths and they are passionate about, we can start to create a project which ultimately benefits the children whom we are serving. So it's kind of an intersection of all these three things coming together. Just get in touch with us, go to our website, meet one of our coordinators. And if you are a kid in the age group of, let's just say, 12 to 18, if you are going to school, Be a part of our Change Ambassadors program.
Thank you, sir.
What is success in Aahan Foundation?
Historically, we have seen that its success has always been attributed to certain numbers. How many number of girls you reached out to, how many boys you educated, how many certificates that you distribute. All of those things are extremely important. But for us at Aahan, it is extremely important for us to understand that how many girls who went through our transformation journey are now able to create an impact in their communities. That is how we measure our success. If we are bringing a girl out from the depths where she has been traumatized to a stage where now she can become the beacon of hope for 100 other girls, that is how we define our success. And even if there is just one girl who stands up to meet that criteria of success, we'll call ourselves successful. So, for example, a girl called Aarti Munda, she joined our program way back in 2016. And she comes from extremely troubled background, a very small village in Jharkhand, about an hour away from the main city of Ranchi. She's a tribal girl, and when we first interacted with her, she was not at a level where she could even lead her life properly. Now, cut to 2024, she has earned the fellowship from Vital Voices USA and Reliance Foundation. She has been adjudged as one of the 50 emerging women leaders in India. She is running multiple centers in villages. She is running art schools, and she's the one who sort of connects the entire community together, whether it's BLO, whether it's the former chief minister, whether it's the Panchayati Raj institution members, whether it's Sarpanch, Mukhya, mothers, or the children. All of them know that there is one lady who is there to protect their interest, who is there to safeguard the interest of their child. And she has sort of created this movement that we should have a gender equal world right in the interiors of Jharkhand, where nobody even dares to go. So that is how we measure our success, and that is one of the success stories that we have been able to create.
Is Aarti Munda very exceptional, or is this the norm for your success stories?
I believe that every girl and every boy has got the elements to become exceptional. They just need to be provided that ecosystem where they could just unleash themselves.
Tell me about a unique issue that only Aahan Foundation faces, and maybe not other social impact organizations may not be facing it as much.
We have to work with a girl for a sustained period of time, 5 to 10 years. It's a long time indeed. She walks into our center when she's just 8 or 10 years old. And then when she walks out, she's about 18 or 20. Now, we have to ensure that all our programs are running in the same speed or maybe even more, facing all the problems that comes through within that decade. Very frequently, we come across the funders or the donor organization who want us to provide the evidence of the changing landscape of the problem being solved in a year's time, in 2 years' time. Now, help me understand, a girl who has been abused by her father for the past 12 years, how can she immediately sprung up and say, oh, I am now ready for the world? It takes a hell lot of time. It's a marathon. There are no shortcuts. But unfortunately, a lot of activities that we do behind the scenes never get funded.
Yeah.
So how do we ensure that we keep the things running? How do we ensure the quality that needs to be delivered? And then on top of it, when we are working with a girl over a period of 5 to 10 years, we are working with migrant community children. We are really not sure that whether or not their parents would be able to stay in that one particular place after 2 years.
Right.
We just cannot let that girl go away and not come into our fold of development because we feel that we are not sure whether she would be funded or not. We still have to make that effort to ensure that that one single child gets what she really deserves. And that scaling deep sometimes becomes really difficult for us to explain in front of the donors and take the things forward. We are working in Jharkhand. We are working in one of the red corridor states of India. That in itself is the biggest challenge.
If you guys look back at Aahan's history, what have been the toughest instances till date? Or one instance?
You're not going to make it easy for me, right?
No.
See, up to a point, I always thought that maybe it was fund, maybe it was infrastructure, maybe it was something technical skills, which is very difficult for us to maneuver or manage. I would tell you an incident which happened just a couple of days ago. One of our girls insisted and rather pleaded that she would want to stay back in our center, and she doesn't really want to go home. When our program coordinator tried to understand and tried to see what is the reason, she said that her father is an alcoholic and he beats her up, black and blue. And she showed some of the things that we didn't really anticipate that she would be going through. But we could not allow her to stay in our center because of the resource constraint. We are not a residential organization. Saying no to that poor child is difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine. That must be really hard.
You would use your influence, you would use your skills, your experience, your influence in the region to tell to the parents that, hey, behave. But you're not really ever sure that if the kid is there, she is really safe in the hand of her own father. So yeah, that's difficult.
Work that you guys are doing is pretty incredible. And I also know you guys partner with a lot of organizations. So how does that work?
We do partner with a lot of organizations to complete the loop. We understood that there is an intergenerational cycle of gender-based violence and doom which is perpetrating. And so we need to replace that cycle of doom with what we call as a cycle of bloom, wherein we are helping the girls getting the kind of mental resilience and confidence that they need, the kind of skills they need to build their capacity, the kind of confidence they need to build their agency, and finally, the kind of leadership that they need to become as a mature adult, to raise their child in a better way. Now, all of these things cannot be done by us. And so for each of these 4 areas, we have got our partners. So when it comes to the education side, we have got institutions who are helping us with certification or 21st century skills. We have got organizations who are training the girls on skills which could be making them employable. In fact, many of our girls have now got placed as well. We then partner with a lot of organizations which help us in giving us a very neutral perspective of where perhaps we could improve ourselves. Very importantly, now what we do is that we also team up with schools and institutions, and we run our program called Change Ambassadors program, for example, wherein young generation, young kids in urban areas, urban schools, they are now lending a helping hand to the girls in supporting them.
This is something I always wonder about social impact organizations, is that they're doing work in one specific area, but I think a lot of it is about closing that loop. You
Absolutely.
see, you know, आपने यहाँ पे करके छोड़ दिया, उसके बाद क्या? You know,
Absolutely.
That's what, and then it can just slide back, you know, eventually. So,
and I truly believe that one should not be arrogant enough to not to let any other partner come in and take some of the burden, because they are a specialist in their own way. That fit between the vision that we have is extremely important for us to move ahead with the collaboration.
Thank you so much, Gaurang. It was indeed a pleasure knowing more about Aahan Foundation.
Thank you
and
so
we'll
much.
continue our conversation. Stay with us while I keep chatting with Gaurang Pathak, Director of Fundraising and Operations, Aahan Foundation. Stay tuned and do subscribe to our channel.